What's going on, everybody? My name is Marco. I just wanted to start the video off thanking all my subscribers. We've hit over 200 subscribers now, which is absolutely phenomenal. Let's go ahead and go for 250 now, guys. Getting a quarter of 1,000 subscribers would be insane. So anyway, guys, I'm pretty excited to bring you this video because it is going to be the full review and benchmark of the 15-inch HP Omen laptop that I unboxed a couple months ago. Just to recap the specs for those of you guys who haven't seen the video or haven't seen it in a while, the specs of the laptop is going to be a 15-inch display. It's going to be full HD at 1920 by 1080 resolution. It's going to have an i7 7700 HQ running at, I believe, 2.8 gigahertz, 8 gigabytes of DDR4, a GTX 1050 Ti with 4 gigabytes of dedicated VRAM, a 128 gigabyte SSD that is running on the NVMe architecture, I guess you could say, or protocol bus. I'm not really sure the word there for that, but anyway, and a 1 terabyte mechanical hard drive for storage. So guys, in this video I did talk a little bit about the laptop, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, all that stuff there, and I also did some benchmarks, and most of them are actually going to be me playing the games that I'm going to be playing in the videos with the camera facing the laptop's display and the frame rate counter up in the top right corner of the display. The reason I went with this route rather than doing in-game captures is because I wanted the computer, or rather I wanted the video to show what the computer can do without any kind of hindrance, because Shadowplay does kind of take up some resources. While not a lot, I'd still rather have a full, not resource hog kind of video there. So I decided to go the route where I filmed the display, so you guys can still see the frame rate, and I'll show you guys the settings of each game that I show, and all that good stuff there. I believe GTA 5 was the only one I did do an in-game benchmark, because I think it was the only one that, the only game I tested that actually had an in-game benchmarking feature. And also did some synthetic benchmarks with 3D Mark. I did Fire Strike and Time Spy, and the games I tested out were, I believe, Overwatch, Rocket League, GTA 5, and I also tested out PUBG because PUBG is a really popular game right now, and I figured it'd be important to show how it performs on the computer there. So guys, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into the video. The 15-inch HP Omen for 2017 is a great looking laptop. It has lots of hard lines and angles that make it look a bit like an exotic car. The rear vents are my favorite aesthetic of this laptop, and I do feel like they do vent a good amount of air. The bottom does appear to have small extra ventilation, although I'm not sure if they are functional. The speakers have red accents and are down-firing. They don't sound too bad on a hard surface, but if you have it on your lap, expect them to sound a bit muffled. I/O is no stranger to this laptop. It sports a Thunderbolt port, HDMI output, Ethernet port, USB Type A and C variants of USB 3.1, and audio out and a mic input, which a lot of laptops seem to lack these days. The other side of the laptop is a bit more barren, sporting your DC input for charging, 2 more USB inputs, an HDD activity indicator LED, and an SD card slot, which does come in pretty handy. The display looks good, but I do wish it could be brighter. There's unfortunately a decent amount of backlight bleed with this laptop, which I haven't seen much of myself on some higher end laptops. The hinge seems strong, but is a little floppy. I did have the display close on me after a night of downloading when I had it open just a little bit. The laptop does seem well balanced and does not appear to require 2 hands to open it to prevent the whole computer from lifting up. The trackpad feels pretty poor to me. I'm coming from a MacBook Pro and I feel that no one can make a trackpad as good and responsive as Apple can. I find myself often using an external mouse when using this computer, as the trackpad tends to jump around a bit as well. The keyboard, on the other hand, actually feels really good. I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, but it almost feels better than an Apple keyboard. The crisp responsiveness of this keyboard is amazing. The key feel going up and down is just so good, it really is. Apple's new keyboards just have no travel, and I really don't like the way that feels. Now we're going to hop right into the benchmarks. We're going to start this off with Time Spy. As you guys can see, the frame rate is absolutely horrendous, but I honestly haven't seen a computer do that great on this benchmark anyway. Usually you might get between like 20 and 40 FPS depending on how good the computer is and all that stuff there. The CPU test here runs a lot better, and I think that's mostly because of the fact that it's not taxing the video card but the CPU, which is actually a pretty good one, whereas the graphics card is more of an entry-level one, but although it does do a really good job. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the results here, and as you guys can see, it's not that great, but it's not as bad as I was expecting, honestly, and that's just the way it is. So now we're going to move on to Fire Strike. Fire Strike starts off running much better than Time Spy did, if you guys can see the frame rate up there on the top. It runs great through all the different tests, as you guys can see here. Frame rate's not that bad, getting up to 40 FPS, which is really not that bad at all. The physics test runs pretty well as well, as I think this is mostly taxing the CPU, although I'm not 100% sure on what this is actually testing. Now this combined test might as well be like we're clicking through the PowerPoint slides on a slideshow. This is so bad, this frame rate here, and this is honestly the worst I've ever seen this benchmark run. I haven't run it on many computers, but I have run it on a few, and that's terrible. But regardless of that, the actual results were so much better than I was expecting. 6,400 points, that's really not that bad. So now for some gaming. We're gonna have Rocket League here running on high quality, and from there we're gonna go ahead and see how the game actually runs. I was honestly really impressed with how this game ran. I've seen a lot of people play this game on higher end laptops at LAN parties that I've gone to, and they've been getting great frame rates, so I didn't expect this one to do as well, but look at this thing go. 60 FPS, no problem, guys. Look at that. I'm not very good at this game, I just messed that up there, as you guys can see, but really, like, look at the quality, look at how good the game looks, look at the frame rate, it's really good. This laptop is really a great bang for the buck, in my opinion, especially now. I think Best Buy has it for like $1,000 at the time of filming. Now we're going to move on to Overwatch. This game couldn't be more popular these days. We're going to have the preset set to high here, and I think some of the settings here I changed a little bit at some point, but I'm not 100% sure. You guys can take a look at those and see what you think about them. Gameplay here is amazing as well. Look at the frame rate here. Look what's going on. There's some stuff going on the screen there. There's a good amount of stuff going on, and the frame rate's running really well. We haven't really gone below 61s yet, from what I can see. This game is also really popular at LAN parties, so getting a laptop that could run this game is a big must when it comes to people who plan on going to LAN parties. Next up, of course, is PUBG. This is one of my favorite games of all time, honestly. Playing it with friends couldn't be more fun. I have the settings here set to very low, as you guys could see there, as this laptop just can't really cut it for this game. I have played it hours on this laptop, I'm not gonna lie. But even then, like, it hasn't been the best experience. It's still playable, but not the best experience. You guys can look at this part here, look at that. We're getting below 30 FPS in the plane scene. Granted, a lot of things are loading up at this point, a lot of things are rendering, you know what I mean? A lot of things like that are going on, so don't really discount it too much. My gaming PC and the Ryzen build with the GTX 1080 do struggle sometimes with this part of the game. Now that we're on the ground, you can see that things have greatly improved. We're getting about 60 FPS right now, but we are going to get some dips down to almost 30 FPS depending on what's going on. And that's not too bad, you know what I mean? It's not that common. Right now we're in the 40s. It's not that common, but it does annoy you sometimes, it really does. But again, this game is not well optimized, and every computer I've played it on does do that from time to time. Now let's get into some action. Right here we're pulling into Pochinki, and as you can see, the frame rate is starting to go down a little bit, but not much yet. And it's running pretty well overall, very playable. Now I'm getting shot at right here, and I go out to try to kind of do like a last-ditch effort there to save myself, and that ended miserably, as you guys could see. Now I'll move on to GTA 5. All of the settings here are visible. It's set to normal on most things. I believe all things is actually set to normal here. And it runs really, really, really well. I was shocked here. Look at this frame rate. With VSync off, we're getting nearly 100 FPS, and in some cases over 100 FPS playing GTA 5 on this laptop at this price point, which is insane. I do want to mention that under heavy loads, this laptop does get quite hot and quite loud. The keyboard gets really hot to the touch when playing games on it, so when you're using your WASD keys, be wary of that. It's going to get a little bit warm. Not like scalding hot from what I've felt anyway, not to me anyway, but it does get pretty warm. Also, the battery life on this laptop, I honestly haven't tested it out much as I've used it plugged in most of the time, and I don't plan on using it unplugged, because that's just not what I'm going to do with it. When I go places, I really just leave it plugged in anyway. And the few times I have had it unplugged, the battery life has been less than stellar, honestly. It goes down kind of fast. It's not that impressive. It's not Apple kind of impressiveness. It's just, you know, if that's even a word, it's just, you know, it's alright. It's okay. It lets you do some word processing, stuff like that. But I wouldn't even try playing games on this thing while it's unplugged, because I think even then it's going to switch to its integrated graphics, which is whatever the 7700 HQ uses, because I believe that it needs to be plugged in order to use a discrete 1050 Ti to save power. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Continue watching the benchmark. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to drop a like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.